Welcome to my channel. Today we will unveil the hidden truths behind the imposing walls of the Ottoman Imperial Harem, a place shrouded in mystery and misconception. Join us as we explore the untold stories of the women who inhabited this enigmatic realm, uncovering their struggles, triumphs, and the harsh realities of life within its confines. Behind the opulent facade, the harem was a microcosm of the Ottoman Empire, a world unto itself where political intrigue and power struggles played out with devastating consequences. Now let's get started. The Ottoman Sultan held sway not only over vast empires, but also over the lives of nearly 400 women confined within the walls of the imperial harem. This exclusive domain was a microcosm of the Ottoman political structure, where every aspect of a woman's existence was dictated by rank and protocol. As soon as they stepped through the towering gates of the harem, these women were stripped of their previous identities, becoming mere numbers in a rigid hierarchy. To better understand this, let's delve into the heart of the Ottoman Empire and meet the key players in this intricate game of power and control. At the apex stood the Sultan's wife, the one who bore the title of Sultan's wife, holding the highest rank and wielding considerable influence over the Sultan himself. Below her were the Ikbels women who had successfully given birth to a son or daughter who survived infancy and were elevated to this esteemed position. The Iqbals enjoyed privileges denied to others, shaping the future of the empire by influencing the Sultan regarding the education and upbringing of his heirs. The next tier comprised the concubines, women who shared intimate moments with the Sultan but did not hold the same legal status or privileges as the Sultan's wife. Their ranks were further divided into categories such as the Bakkunbini, the first concubine, and the second concubine, reflecting the hierarchy of intimacy and proximity to the Sultan. Each of these ranks was marked by its own set of privileges, restrictions, and expectations, and as one might imagine, the closer a woman stood to the Sultan in both physical proximity and legal standing, the greater the allure of her position, yet also the higher the stakes. Now that we've met the key players, let's explore the gripping reality of life within the Ottoman Imperial Harem. The Ottoman Imperial Harem wasn't just a place of confinement, but a ruthlessly efficient instrument of control. Every action, from a concubine's first step into the harem until their eventual exit, was meticulously orchestrated by the eunuchs and palace officials. The harsh protocols extended to every facet of a woman's life, dictating everything from the fabric of their clothing to the hours they were allowed to sleep. If a concubine dared to defy these protocols, she faced severe repercussions. Imagine the dread that must have filled her heart as she awaited her punishment. For minor infractions, punishments ranged from extra duties to temporary banishments from the Sultan's presence. But for more serious transgressions, the penalties were far more severe. Picture a concubine struggling against silk cords as her body was slowly strangled, her pleas for mercy echoing within the cold palace walls. Such was the fate of those found guilty of unauthorized pregnancies or secret menstruations, a chilling reminder of the lengths to which the regime would go to maintain control. Yet life within the harem was not solely dictated by fear. While the system was designed to snuff out individuality and autonomy, a few women managed to thrive, not because they conformed, but because they defied the odds through intelligence, cunning, and strategic alliances. One of the most intriguing aspects of the Ottoman Imperial Harem was the means by which women navigated its treacherous waters. The system was built on deception and betrayal, forcing each woman to constantly be on guard, not just against the whims of the Sultan or the jealousy of other concubines, but also against the eunuchs who held significant power within the palace walls. These men, once ordinary men, emasculated by the empire for positions of trust, were now in charge of guarding the Sultan's virtue and maintaining the delicate balance of power within the harem. They formed a shadowy network of informants and enforcers, controlling access to the Sultan and manipulating the flow of information. Their decisions could make or break a woman's fortune, elevating a concubine to favor or casting her into the shadows. Yet they wielded this power not always with benevolence, but often for personal gain, indulging in bribery, coercion, and even sexual abuse. In this toxic environment, the women of the harem had to develop a keen sense of strategy and survival instincts to shield themselves from harm. It was a world where whispers could end careers and where loyalty was as fleeting as the Sultan's favor. To survive, women forged alliances, exchanged secrets, and carefully cultivated their images. They had to master the art of palace intrigue, reading between the lines, anticipating moves, and protecting their own interests. It was a high-stakes game, and the prize was nothing less than their very survival. Within this labyrinth of power, however, a beacon of hope flickered. As the legend goes, a young slave girl named Roxalana dared to dream beyond the confines of the harem. Hailing from the distant lands of Ukraine, she had been brought to Constantinople as a captive, destined for a life of servitude. But Roxalana was no ordinary captive. She possessed an intelligence and ambition that refused to be confined by the rigid walls of the harem. Through sheer determination and a stroke of good fortune, Roxalana caught the eye of the Sultan. But rather than submit to the traditional fate of harem women, she negotiated an unprecedented deal. She secured the Sultan's legal marriage, breaking centuries of tradition and establishing herself as the Sultan's wife. This triumph alone was a monumental achievement, shattering the norms of a society that valued female subservience. But Roxalana's ambitions didn't end at the threshold of the Sultan's bedroom. She yearned for a deeper level of influence, a voice in the affairs of the empire that her predecessors had never known. With a blend of charm, wit, and political astuteness, Roxalana navigated the treacherous waters of Ottoman court politics. She formed alliances, brokered peace deals, and wielded the power of persuasion like a seasoned politician. Her influence extended far beyond the harem, shaping the very course of the empire. Roxalana's story wasn't merely a tale of a woman who climbed the ladder of power, but a testament to the human spirit's indomitable will to rise above adversity. Despite the odds stacked against her, she dared to dream of a different reality, and in doing so, changed the narrative for generations to come. As the sun began its slow descent, casting long shadows across the opulent grounds of the Topkapi Palace, the atmosphere within the harem shifted. This was the hour when the doors to the Sultaness' chambers would open, and the anticipation would reach fever pitch. Each concubine held her breath, hoping to catch the Sultan's eye, for it was a ticket to favor, power, and possibly even love. For many, this nightly ritual was a game of chance, a roll of the dice in a world where fortune favored the Sultan's fancy. But it was a gamble not without consequence. Being summoned could be a blessing or a curse, a path to glory, or a ticket to oblivion. The Sultan's affection was as fickle as the wind, and his mood could turn on a dime. What had brought a concubine to the pinnacle of pleasure and privilege one moment could lead to ruin the next. In this unpredictable realm, a concubine's life hung in the balance, teetering between the heights of desire and the depths of despair. The harem, once a symbol of imperial grandeur, was now a battleground of emotions, where the hearts and minds of its female inhabitants were the spoils of war. Amidst this volatile atmosphere, the women of the harem devised ingenious strategies to safeguard themselves, not just from the Sultan's wrath, but also from the prying eyes of palace officials and the venomous whispers of fellow concubines. It was a world where discretion was a virtue, and survival an art form. For instance, the arrival of a monthly visitor could spell trouble. Menstruation was seen as a sign of femininity, but within the confines of the harem, it was a dangerous liability. It meant a concubine was judged as sexually mature and potentially able to bear children, thus making her a target for the Sultan's attention. To avoid unwanted summonses, women resorted to desperate measures, hiding their signs of fertility, or even using substitutes to take their place. They concealed blood with elaborate clothing or discreetly disposed of evidence, all in a bid to remain unnoticed. It was a constant game of hide and seek, a desperate attempt to stave off the Sultan's radar. The Ottoman imperial harem was not just a place of confinement, but a complex web of power, politics, and survival. The lives of the women within its walls were a stark reminder of the lengths to which the pursuit of control could go. As we reflect on the harrowing tales of the Ottoman imperial harem, we are confronted with a legacy of oppression and resilience. These women, confined within the walls of the Topkapi Palace, were more than just victims of circumstance. They were survivors. They navigated a world where every step was fraught with danger, where every smile could be a lie and every glance a threat. Their stories remind us of the strength of the human spirit in the face of adversity, the lengths to which one can go to protect their dignity and autonomy. Yet as we delve deeper into the annals of history, we must also confront the uncomfortable truths. The harem was not just a place of romance and luxury, but a brutal instrument of power and control. It was a microcosm of a society that valued female subservience and male dominance. It was a world where women were reduced to objects, their value measured by their ability to conform or resist, to obey or rebel. Their fates hung in the balance, swaying with the whims of the Sultan and the machinations of palace politics. As the sun sets on the Ottoman Empire, the lessons of the harem echo through time. They serve as a reminder of the fine line between privilege and oppression, of the seductive allure of power and its corrosive effects on humanity. It is a tale that compels us to confront the complexities of our past, to acknowledge the shadows that lurk beneath the shimmering facade of imperial grandeur, and yet amidst the darkness, there is a flicker of hope. The story of Roxalana stands as a beacon, a testament to the indomitable spirit that refuses to be broken. It is a tale that transcends time, a story of courage and resilience in the face of overwhelming odds. Her journey from a captive slave girl to the Sultaness' legal wife and a powerful influencer is a beacon for those who dare to dream of a better world. Roxalana's legacy serves as a potent symbol of the transformative power of the human spirit, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, hope and determination can pave the way for extraordinary feats. As we bring this journey to a close, we are left with a profound sense of admiration for the women of the Ottoman imperial harem. They were not just pawns in a game of power, but agents of their own destinies. Their actions, their defiance, and their resilience continue to inspire, reminding us that the pursuit of power and control can never truly extinguish the flame of human spirit.